Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Timberborn, where we are currently just waiting here, looking down at Wellspring, and waiting for its builders to get this little old floodgate in position. So then, once this drought is over, 6 days time, where we left off, we'll get a bit more water built up in here and can kind of plan on irrigating out this section. We have quite a few irrigation projects underway, some we got finished last time, some we still have ongoing. Over here, down as kind of the same part of the same project because we're building up the wall over here, which once this floodgate's done, we'll redirect Wellspring's builders over to here, keep this thing being built up, and that should raise the water level back through here. And for that we need this done, and we have the builders building out this tubeway to be able to access that in a fairly prompt time. Then we get another district in here. I need to get something to block off this section too. That can be another Wellspring project after they've built this levee. And then once this is done and this is filling up, we can get a district built in here. Looking out where the water will flow out kind of down this last final river out off the edge of the map. And then kind of building up into here and building this up. Ooh. And I want to keep out developing Three Peaks a bit too. I am very, very happy with how this settlement ended up turning out. With all these little oak trees we've planted in these little gullies between the Three Peaks, it looks real nice. Was not too confident we managed to get this irrigated, but just the irrigation barriers, managing to keep the contamination kind of back in sufficiently to get all of this done. And yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, the other thing we talked about last time, which I might consider doing, don't know if I'll get around to this today, it's a bit more of a long-term thing, but I really would like to get this plateau, irrigated. We can get some water pumped up here, fill in this, maybe explode some of this out, and barricade there and there, so we can get some water flowing into here too, and just make this nice and green, because now that we've stripped the ruins off of this is a very barren plateau. I'm still debating if I want to build another settlement up on top of here. Make use of this bad water, like the power, and maybe this underground ruin. Something to consider at least. Now, since the builders down here are still currently occupied, you've almost done that. Well, not going to be long till this is done, but this isn't going to come online until the drought ends anyway, so we have a few days. I am wondering what we might want to do over here on Three Peaks, kind of help keep expanding this place out. I do want to make use of the metal industry here. Get an efficient mine in, start mining stuff. Now, the efficient mine, if I do want to run it efficiently, is going to consume extract and treated planks. Now, I do believe we currently only have one extract building over here and one treated plank building. Is that... Oh no, we have two treated plank buildings at the moment. Just to check, if I look up here, outputs, you seem to think we have 3. Is there a third one tucked somewhere awkwardly in here? Is that another one? That's a gear workshop. Now, I do like this little industrial sector. The downside, though, is it does make it kind of difficult to actually explore the buildings that are in position. Okay, there's one, there's one. Where would we have a third one? I'm trying to remember. If we hover over this, it currently says... Okay, no, I think that might be net, so it's currently saying... Yep. Hit the bell ring. Produces... Yeah, I'm not too certain how to actually read this thing. I think, however, these are the only 2 wood workshops we have. Which means we are producing 1 treated plank every 1.5 hours. Now, this thing is already consuming a decent chunk. This is on quite low efficiency. If I do want to ramp up the mines at some point, each of these mines is going to be chewing through, pretty much one treated plank every 1.5 hours, we can say. There'll be a little bit of spare, but these two together are enough to keep one mine running full time. So if I want to get a second mine up with the idea of having it being running quite efficient, I am going to need to get more wood workshops online. Now, resin, I don't think is going to be a problem. Just this one little tapper out here is like, you can see how much spare resin is built up on these pines. We are not producing it nearly as fast as we are, or we're not consuming it nearly as fast as we produce it. The resin lasts forever, essentially, even off just off a small grove. Now, the other thing we will need, of course, is planks if we want to make up treated planks. We do have quite a good plank income at the moment, but of course, we do regularly spend a whole lot of these. And I don't think this district has any plank manufacturing on its own. And since we are going to have a fairly healthy timber industry once all these oak trees come online, we could afford to to make some planks locally in order to run treated planks here. Yeah, and we have a direct route here to import resin. And so I think as a bit of a prerequisite for setting up a mine, we can start worrying about setting up treated wood here. Now, the other thing that we could also set up on Three Peaks is this centrifuge, this extract producer. So, with 2 beavers operating you produce, say, 1 extract per hour, more or less. Faster than that, but we need to account for inefficiencies. Workers will be injured, workers will be offline, and I much prefer producing too much rather than too little. Now I need to remember, yes, centrifuge there. Yep. So this is another building we could slot in here if I wanted another centrifuge. Again, we have plenty of bad water here. That's unlikely to ever be a problem for us. Now, bad water usage in this mine. Yeah, we use essentially 2 per hour on a fully active mine. Again, it's unlikely to be fully active, so we won't need all of that, but I do think, especially given the fact we also use extract in various recreational buildings, the detailers we've been studying around, a second centrifuge here could also be useful. So we're going to be industrializing this sector quite majorly. Get all of this stuff online. With that in mind, we need to figure out where we're going to be storing a bunch of this stuff. Like, we need to keep our power shafts and where the power's moving all in mind. Okay. Bypassing these irrigation barriers can just be done using simple platforms. That's not going to be too much of a problem. I'm just looking at the dead space kind of out behind here, behind this forester. Probably want to get some buildings built up there, and that's another point will be easy to run power to. Oh, talking about power, the very first thing we need to do, we got this water wheel in position that never hooked it up to the rest of the grid. Let's worry about that. Okay, so way to do this is, easiest way is probably just platform, and leads just a simple power shaft out to there. And we just run some vertical power shafts. We can support the rest of the path on top of this. Right out along here. The vertical power shaft. Yep, you run power. Cross this thing, please. And I'll get power down to there. I just need to figure out how to get it hooked up to this whole section. We can't connect it directly to the side here. Just get this path back on. But what we can do is just feed it across some platforms out to here. Yeah, so if we go a vertical power shaft here, and build on top of that underneath the bridge, yes I can. Okay. And then double platforms the rest of the way. Brings that power into the rest of the system. Cool. And all of this should be reachable from the path as it stands. You're presently not, but once these structures are built, you'll be able to walk across in order to get to it. And I think they should be able to reach diagonally to get both of these once this section is built. Hey, you guys are actually building from down there even. Very well done, lads. Very well done. And so, things to worry about here. Getting an industrial lumber mill in somewhere. Getting a wood workshop in somewhere. To 325 power. And then if I wanted to get centrifuge... Now we're looking around another 600 power on the system. We're going to add another 300. Yeah, so I'm thinking we will need another ward wheel to get all of this online. Now they will definitely have enough to get an industrial lumber mill in. We have power feeding out from there. These lumberjack flags are not actually something we can move too easily. Like, even on this spot, we're missing a few small locations. It needs to be real centralized because it's stretching right to the edge of its reach in both directions. So we don't want to move that or the forester, so we'll need to work around these. With that in mind, this is just a one little wide section here where you're unlikely to make too much use of. That might disturb these stairs though, unless I go over the top. So over the top, I think, is what we're going to have to do. Like that. And then that can be a vertical power shaft. Horizontal, horizontal, vertical. That gets power out of the system. Back here in a nice way that makes use of this little one tile wide part. And this keeps the entrance to buildings on this side of the path, which is more proximal than this side of the path, where our workers to actually access. And then we'll want industrial lumber mill and a wood workshop. Just want to stick a wood workshop in about there-ish? Maybe. Leaves a tiny bit of dead space behind, but not that much. Cool. So we'll just get a power shaft in there. Leave these builders to do their thing. Yep. This thing online? Not quite yet. Still got a few more power shafts to install there. And then for getting extra power, we have a lot of space still to work with. This should not pose much of a problem at all for us. Last one. There we go, all contributing. Yeah, lots of spare power now. Yeah, you guys hammer all of this together. Building. Yeah, and then once this is done, we will jump straight to getting a wood workshop and a lumber mill both online, just to here. Want to stagger you back slightly? Sure, we will. Just have that built up like that, and I'll transmit power into this. And I like having some more low buildings in on this angle in front of the birch trees. Now we will need resin storage in order to run this wood workshop. So a medium warehouse should do nicely. Yeah, and we can insert that just to there. You are resin storage. Now, this district will also need treated plank storage in order to actually store a decent number of treated planks once they're produced. Could just stick that in there. It's a nice 3x3 space. Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah. I was contemplating it sticking in with the rest of the industrial storage over here. We'll leave that for something else to build up on top of it. And now, if we want to run a centrifuge too on this, we do actually need an income of bad water, which will need a bad water pump. We do have metal part storage because hydroponic gardens needed it. Now I just need to find somewhere along this entire bad water riverbed to get a pump installed over it. You hope this won't be too difficult. This is an interesting little spot we don't have too much other use for. We could build up over this power shaft, get a bad water pump like about there if we build this up on platforms. Other options, of course, are right by the wellspring. Let's see, if I wanted to do that, these irrigation barriers pose a little of a problem. We'll need to build this up on platforms and find a way to get up there. Not the end of the world to do that. Not the end of the world. I just decide where I think would look better. I do think we want another little building out, like just to here. It's a tiny bit empty at the moment, so I wanted to get up. We have some spare space here, which would work to get some beavers topside for me. Other options, I could build straight out across here. Beavers would walk a little dogleg around there, past the other pump. I think I might like the access coming from across here rather than the stairs up here. Let me just think about how this would end up looking. I'm thinking about like the silhouette this will present of our town. Like if you look at it from the district, how this campfire is going to mesh in with everything. A build up here will have platforms running right across there. And then the pump in. You know what? Yeah, rather than keeping this, let's just demolish back. Not all that. Actually, yeah, all that path, just to there. We're going to run like some platforms just across here for now. We enter out of there. And we're going to need here or one further across. One further across, I think, like that. Yeah, and then we just leave this open rather than have another pair of stairs up here. Only access from in there. We get the bad water pump, rotate you round, install you, and you should always be able to access bad water from this. I don't think this bad water discharge is going to interrupt it. We'll see if this actually comes online. If it does interrupt it, we just need to shift it one further across and then rebuild. We will need bad water storage too, of course. A medium tank centrifuge is probably going somewhere down this end of the whole system. You wanted to grab bad water from here and then transport it across. What would be a good bad water storage location? Just to here? Next to this other pump? I mean, next to this other storage? Yeah, I think so. Medium tank. Your bad water storage. Cool. Bunch of things to keep the builders here busy now. Laboring away. And this district's going to need a ton more workers. Let's just go ahead, migrate in. You can have up to 33 workers now. And this does mean... well, that actually puts you at exactly the correct number of beds. That is a complete coincidence. That was not actually why I put that many workers in. That was entirely off a whim. Good. These guys down in Wellspring have set up this floodgate to the appropriate height. Check this. Yeah. no, hang on. So you'll be filling up to... Yeah, you'll be filling out at this height, which is the same height as that. This should be good. Now, with this done, I do need you to actually have a way to get up here to continue building this levee. So in order to do that... let's see, we do also need to build out across all of here, so I'm just going to go demolish buildings, get rid of these top paths, so I can pencil in the entire thing. Yeah, levees across here, levees across here. So these floodgates here mean we're going to need to get up here and on this side separately. We could just staircase across the tubeway. And just staircase across the tubeway to get up to the top. Like so. Pathway across the entire thing, just to make certain you can reach. If I wanted to get up here. Yeah, stairs up there would just reach. Simple enough. And you can... Okay, so you will be on the wrong district. And if you're here, we want this district's builders to access. To build this thing. So we'll want some more stairs, like that. Like that. I mean, builders are currently reaching, but this is going to be quite a long path once this is all said and done. Let's make certain that it's all hooked up so they can reach the entire thing, because yeah, this is like right down to red on the far end. And now, accessing the far side of this can maybe be a bit of a task for the builders out here in Lowtown. They can migrate out here and then puddle along. And yeah, you can see some of the Lowtown builders are already building this stuff up. But you do just kind of want to delete that path and instead get a spiral staircase up there. Cool, and now that will get done over time. How's this tubeway coming along? Oh, most of the length completed. Well done, lads. Well done. We can see all of this slowly coming online. Yeah, both of those things are ready. And this is such a cool looking town now. Fine residents slowly being brought in. Now, resin in, centrifuge 2 to get some of this nice, tasty, bright green extract. If I push the power back here, we could get a 3x3 building in there. Also build up, try to transmit power up a bit. You know, something I might want to do here. I'm a bit undecided. I have been wondering about about getting robots into our town. Robots need a lot of infrastructure to manufacture. You need 3 of these big 3x3 bot factories and one of these bot assemblers, which is another 3x3 building, if a bit lower. Each factory is 150 horsepower. Bot assembler is 250 horsepower. We'll need to expand this power network even more here to get that thing online. This could be a viable spot for it if we really squeeze as much power as we can out of this. I need to check, can you actually reach the bad water here? I don't know if you can. Just looking at it, like, they have storage ready to accept bad water. The builder is just currently idle. Yeah, this is not a viable location. We need to shift this across. Then back to the bot discussion. Delete you, delete you. One high platform, one high platform. The bad water pump. Like that. And that definitely can access the bad water now. Okay, so bot discussion. That is 4 large 3x3 footprints buildings we would need to install to get bots being built here. So if I was going to do that, I would probably want one of these bot factories kind of slotted in here, just because it has a flat top, so we could build another thing on top of it. Now, the other place I was maybe considering getting bots built was over here. Like, if we do end up building a district on top of this, this is going to be a lot of bad water, which means a lot of power, which means we could potentially get, like, maybe just an entirely bots district built on top of this mountain. Thinking on it, I think I like that idea a little bit better. So that means we don't need to save as much space here, which means I can comfortably stick a centrifuge just in that location without worrying about it not being able to be built on top of, because we don't need to save space through here to get a bunch of robot factories in. We want to reroute the power around the back, like so. Demolish some of those. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. We need to go one further across, don't we? Yeah, you need to be built there. Okay, so you need to be demolished. We need to run power across to here, which means we need to delete that thing in order to run power across there. Let's just do a vertical power shaft. And we can have you there, and then a spiral staircase keeps this all hooked up. Yeah, I'll let the builders get in the back there and build these up before we tell them to build the centrifuge. This does knock the wind tunnel offline briefly, but that's okay. Yeah, then a centrifuge here will take some of the bad water, which should now be being produced there. Hopefully we'll see once the day comes around if this building actually starts pumping out bad water for us to use. The pipe is actually in the water now, so this should work. Yep, there it goes. Bad water obtained. Wonderful. Yep, you guys have built up that section. You now get another centrifuge requested. We're going to need a bunch more medical beds once this centrifuge comes online, and then with the mine coming online. Oh, we can probably get the mine built now too at this point. And the mine just lives there. And there'll be a whole lot of resources they need to pour into this thing. I'll get that. We also need storage for the extract. We do have little extract storage, but we're going to need big extract storage. Just back here in this corner. Maybe you'd want to do it a bit closer. Might want to do it a bit closer to all this system. Yeah, I think I like there. As a location to install this stuff. And a little one wide spot there we could use for something. Now, well-being, to get those medical beds in while I remember them. Medical beds can be installed in places. Just to here and here, that's 2. Let's get a few more in here, also good, another couple there. Any particularly interesting locations to squeeze in a 5th one? And I do have that little 1x1 spot. I'd kind of like to break these up slightly. And not getting access to that little 1x1 spot, tragically. We have in here... in here. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Yep, I'll get all of that done. And we now have water flowing into the system, which means we'll get to see how this ends up irrigating the surrounding terrain. Bit of a delay since this is right at the end of the water system, but we should see water flowing across here much swifter now. Like previously, everything ending up down there had to go through this lake up here, which takes forever to fill. With this aqueduct completed, we should see water flowing much, much faster. Yeah, look at that, filling this up. Re-irrigating the land back here. Still have an unconnected building. Oh, yes, lumberjack flag. We got all this built up, didn't we? Water just ran out, just as it begins to arrive again from up top there. Yeah, so everything should re-irrigate itself. Wonderful. Yep, so this will be the first bit of water flowing back down onto these floodgates. The moment that fills up, use the backfill, keep our mangrove trees alive. Come on, little one. A little bit of waves in here, it actually seems. Like you can see the water level rising and dropping, rising and dropping. Yeah, we just need to wait for it to start flowing to stabilize. Is aqueduct flowing yet? Not quite yet. Yeah, that's good to see though. Water is, broadly it seems, preferentially trying to flow down to these fill valves to keep this at the correct height, which is the behavior we wanted to see. And so we'll see the water slowly spill over here once this particular reservoir is filled up to its full height. Well, this structure is coming along nicely. Just got 4 more levees to go here, a few over there. The swimming pool area seems to be quite successfully decontaminated now. That had quite a bit of bad water in it for a while, but most of that seems to have blown out, being diluted away. Here we go. Yeah, so the water flows into there. Well, it stops flowing through there, but I keep being paranoid that for some reason this is set at the wrong height and it's going to flood a bunch of these fields or something. Even though it shouldn't do that, but I kind of keep getting this little compulsion to go check. Oh, what if it's wrong? What if it's wrong? Now, this district, everything seems to be operating nicely. Industrial lumber mill, the wood workshop. All chugging away. The efficient mine, slowly being built up. Medium tank will come online at some point. The centrifuge is online. Yeah, I think this actually produces, like, consumes more bad water than we're actually producing off this one pump. You produce 3 per hour, you're consuming, like, 5 per hour. Yeah. I might need a second pump if I want to keep this thing online all the time. Slightly lowered productivity is not the worst thing in the world for you, though. You do only have 2 unemployed beavers with 1 incapacitated. Once this mine comes online, yeah, I am going to need to get more workers in this district. Which means I'm going to need more housing in this district, too. Need to figure out where I want to squeeze some more houses in here. This little area back here is really asking to have like platforms put in here and actually raised up to a second height level. Need to keep that in mind. Oh, lack of workers or water. And you have plenty of water pumps. We're running low on haulers? Do I have a hauling post? Yes, I do. You just need... Let's get a bunch more haulers here. And yeah, migrate population. Let's take you all the way up to 40 beavers. Which means this is now, yeah, a bigger district than Lake Town or Low Town. Population-wise. And we really do need to think about that housing situation now. And if I wanted to get people up top somehow, wandering around up here, build buildings, how would I actually get up there? We'll need to have the way to climb up onto the next level actually be here. Seems quite unlikely. I mean, I could do like some long suspension bridges over the top. They would need to go quite high though, like up from here, which is going to be more than one level up to connect this thing in. So yeah, a way to get up to a second level from this side somewhere. Oh, we do have a small treated plank storage building there, which we can remove. We're definitely no longer using that. With that in mind, I think this becomes considerably easier. Yeah. We can have you in there, and then we just get a bunch of platforms snaking around here. Go down to there, along there. And then, where do I want to squeeze some housing up here? Barracks, some row houses. I can get some more row houses in here in this little 2x2 spot. That might be a decent start. Each of these will sleep 5. I had one there, one there. Yeah, if we just do something like that, and I can get some more buildings, yeah, like that, a barracks or something in there would put that on roof level. Yeah, I like that. We'll just roof in this little area. Keep that in mind. Flying beavers. Oh, wow. Homeless unemployed beavers here. Oh, you're not currently suffering the homeless effect since you're a recent immigrant, but 40 well-being. That is way, way above average. Yeah, you're still getting a bunch of buffs from another district, and you've just come in here and now you're getting more buffs from this district's own unique stuff. Oh, back here, check. How's this looking? Yeah, this is going to be fine. Yeah. So Lidwood Wave still filling up this. We now have a large reservoir just in here. And we should see water spill over the top any second now. And it is a considerable delay before we see water flowing down here too. Wait. How close are you to going over the top? You're almost there. Almost. Yeah, water throughput through these canyons is really going to be a limiting factor when we're building up here. Tiny bit of spillage. Yeah, this is at the correct height. Wonderful. You are almost done building that. 4 more to go. Oh, excellent. You've built this up. I really like how this thing looks. Like, look at that. Like, the water just flowing out from underneath that tubeway station over the top of the levees. Yeah, that is a cool looking structure. Yeah, and the beavers here are just going to be quite busy for the meantime. Let's see, what other stuff do I feel like I need to worry about? Farming terrace up here, kind of chugging away happily. They have their flame of unity and everything in position. Producing a lot of coffee, producing a whole lot of corn. How are you for food storage stuff? Currently storing a good chunk of stuff. You don't have any mangrove fruit storage, eggplant storage, or algae ration storage. You are full up on corn storage too. Honestly, just a little bit more corn storage so this factory is producing more regularly. Might not be a bad thing. Like we can see we have plenty of corn just sitting out in the fields, not being made active use of. I'll get a little bit more storage in here. I kind of want to build up this far side of the river. Like, if you look at the town from this way, it's nice and built up. If you look here, though, like, this part looks a bit empty for some reason. Just building up one high storage help? I think it would. This would again, however, run into the problem of actually getting beavers up to that storage. I could shift around this lumberjack flag slightly, maybe. Then have a path up here. I could shift this tooth grindstone somewhere else. Have a path up there. Yeah, I think so. So let's pencil in some platforms. At the very least, need like that. Get some storage. I'll just get a warehouse in. You are corn ration storage. Another warehouse. What do I want you to store? I mean, you can store some mangrove fruits. We should have a excess of mangrove fruits coming in from this direction, so we don't have any storage of those at this moment. Then actually getting beavers up here is a matter of, getting paths in. And then if we delete that tooth grindstone, yeah, like that, build into there, beavers up in that direction. I'll leave the lumberjack flag where it is at this moment. And then to replace the tooth grindstone, let's stick it on the end of that little rail in there. Yeah. We do have some awkwardness over here. But we're very unlikely to build another structure off the end of that at this moment. So yeah, this can be the new tooth grindstone location. Cool. Yeah, that looks a bit nicer looking in from this direction now. Like, the river's a little bit more enclosed by the town. Yeah. See how the builders here getting along. They just have a whole lot of material to dump into this efficient mine. I don't want that many workers. Let's drop you down to 4 workers on this efficient mine to start off with. Like, a full contingent of 10 would be overdoing it. Yeah, injured beaver, not currently in a tent. Yeah, we don't have a lot of tents built yet, though. Our builders are just overloaded here. Yes, we can see the water is now flowing through here successfully. It's nice to see. Have you gotten... Yes, all of this is built up now. Which means it's time to worry about walling this section in. Build out from that little one there. Maybe... something like that to contain it. Build you in slightly. You look more like that. Yeah, I still don't like how close to the corner this is. Delete there, delete there. This can just zigzag a tiny bit. Like that. I still feel like that's a tad exposed, but it'll do. It'll do. Now I need to actually get builders up there in order to work on this. So whose builders should that be? I mean, we do have like workers from this district can reach out to here or here. The tubeways. Sure, let's go. Workers from here can path their way across by going... Oh, they need to get over this and around. I mean, we can have paths just built across the back there. And then... Yeah, a little bit weird, but that should do it. I'll keep those builders busy working on this. And then once that's done, we raise up these floodgates and we should see water backfill out across here. Now, working on the district over here. So this little reservoir we've just built up here is going to be this district. I'm thinking Terminus as the name of this district. Yeah, Terminus. This will be Terminus's water supply because we cannot that readily raise up the water level here. We can raise it up a little bit with this little drop off, right? But if we raise it up higher here, we're going to see a lot of flooding of this plain. And I want to keep this intact. We'll dynamite a little channel through here, fill up here, keep this irrigated, but I can't raise the water level. So, that in mind, do I want... Yeah, I need to decide. Do I want all of this at this lowest most level, or do I want to... It's pretty much a question, do I want the levee here or here? The final part. Now, getting power to this district is also a question. I don't think this district is going to be too power hungry. If I build up the levee here, like power across here will get the most effect, most easily. Whereas if I build a levee here, I'm probably building power in the central area. But I don't think I like the idea of putting power wheels down here. I want to keep this a very natural part of the waterway. So we're going to be doing, yeah, a levee and a dam, right, just to here. Levee, 3 dams. Yeah, like that. Now, the actual district center, we need to build somewhere up here. What I want to do is get the builders from this district getting staircases and stuff in. So I want curved staircases, straight staircases up here. You'll probably find this being a straight staircase. Oh yeah, 2 straight staircases, just up like that. And then you lead out about there. Oh no, the reason we built out here was for this natural path, wasn't it? Yes, let's make use of that. Delete this. Forget about that. I forgot why I was doing this. Yeah, natural staircase. Make use of it. And then once you're in here, we'll need a staircase up. Which can just be something like that. Yep, right in the center of that little part. Cool. I'll get these builders to build that in. And then I probably do want a staircase down here, though, but not connecting up to this district. Like, curving down along here. Straight down. I reckon just straight down across here. Like so. Yeah, we just want to get the stairs in before we set up the actual district so beavers can move around appropriately, get to places they need to be. Now, this one can be a spiral stair. This one a straight stair. This one a straight stair. We'll get straight stair continuing down to here. Like that. Yep, yep. Perfect. You guys get all that hammered into position for me. Farming terrace is looking lovely. You can see the mangrove fruit thing is filling up. Corn rations is instantly filled up to capacity. Does this district have corn ration storage in it? It does not. It really, really should. Let's fix that. The corn ration storage. Somewhere, anywhere. Just back here? Sure, just back there. I just need to make peace with the fact I'm never using all of this farmland in here. Corn rations. Cool. Oh, these oil presses seem to be producing a good quantity of canola oil. Now completely backed up there, which is nice to see. This district, still chugging along. Still got a whole bunch of stuff for the workers to deliver. They're getting there though. You can see them running up, running across. Carrying materials bit by bit. Yeah, only a couple more stairs to go in here, and then we'll get this new district situated in. The trading post is probably just going to be right here at the entrance to this little dead forest. Yeah. Yeah, just in there. I like that. So we'll leave those builders to get this done. And yes, this levy is also making some very nice progress. About a third, maybe... yeah, about a third of the way done. And once that's done, we can raise up the water level here and start thinking about this whole bit of engineering. Now, if I want to get water flowing back across this channel, that's going to just be a bit of a dynamite problem, I reckon. Yeah, because there's no natural path linking this river to this river except for this one, and this is much more of a natural path to this little divot there. I mean, with that in mind, we might actually want to alter this slightly, just there's like a dam in here to keep some water flowing through this, and then yeah, this might actually want to be altered slightly. Because we will want to block this off. And then just have a couple of dams in here to let water drain into here. And the water drains into here, flows down onto here, and then we'll fill up this level, flow through this channel, fill in here, or with dynamite we'll make some flow into there, and then we'll flow off the end here. Now I can keep the workers from Walton working away by deleting that tubeway, getting a vertical tubeway. Yeah, getting some of them down here in order to actually get this fixed up so we're having a tiny bit of a backlog here. Right, levy, levy, levy. And then just a single dam, or do I want to get a... Let's get a floodgate in right at the end. That way they can raise this to the maximum level. Yeah, something like that. And then that'll just let the water out off the edge of the map so we don't get any flooding here. Let's get those tubeways in. Cool. Now to actually get beavers down there to build that, we'll need a way over this whole wall structure. We don't particularly need that bit of path anymore, so that should be the simplest solution. Yeah, and then across the top. Leave those lads to get that handled. Yeah, everything is coming along very nicely. Yeah, trying to see, I think project down here, yes, is done. Which means it's now time to start thinking about this new district in here. So we'll want to delete that path. Delete that path. Get a district crossing in just to there. We definitely don't need 4 workers on both ends of you. Drop that down to 2. And a district center. I mean, whereabouts do I want to stick this building? Probably up on the topmost plateau. Like, down here is probably a bit closer to the true center of where the district's going to be, because down here is going to be where a lot of the actual work's getting done. But the builders can just have a little bit further to run. Like, this is a good spot for maybe doing some double high building, stacking warehouses on top of warehouses and stuff. With that in mind, just to there, back one maybe, just here. Yeah, let's get district center built up. Right there. All in. New district. That is not term. M. Thank you, fingers. Yeah, terminus. Because it's the very end of the river, and it looks out over here. Yeah, and that was kind of why I didn't want to build up like the levee there, because if you stand right on this little edge of the cliff, you get a beautiful view down the canyon of the water disappearing. Yep, and then the builders in this new district can be the ones to get this little bit of wall completed. And we'll need to get some dynamite exploded through here in order to fill up this little bit. Then we'll need to get a deep water pump, exploiting water out of this old reservoir here. I see, it is only 1 deep for this section. Like, getting another little explosive in here or something might actually be a good idea, just so we're not ever running out of water here. Yeah, let's see. A double dynamite just there. Can you guys reach that? Down there? Nah. Don't need to run. A new path. You know, awkwardly across the top of here. Get some stairs in there. Yeah, get those explosives set up, please. Wellspring can handle that. And once that's done, we'll have the water pump just situated there. Reach down. Yeah, so we will need a full contingent of workers, please. And then workers at the crossroads. And then water pump. Yep. I'll just leave you on 7 workers at the moment. We can get more workers in as needed. Now we do have housing and storage stuff to think about. We will want explosive storage sooner rather than later. Or basic food things. So these little two high sections here only really work if we have the exits poking out to the side like that. If I do that here, yeah, we can have another building like that facing in. Yeah, not the end of the world to organize it like that. So we'll just get a barracks, get our beavers some housing. You can just link up like that at the moment. Yeah, district crossing is good. And this will keep these beavers supplied with food. Right. This is close enough. This place has a substantial food surplus. Not too worried about that at all. Yeah, slowly building that stuff out. Slowly building this stuff out. Farming terraces look nice. Mining stations looking nice. Is there anything I wanted to do over here in Lake Town? I mean, now that we have an excess of mushrooms being produced over here, you could do with some mushroom storage. Corn rations. You are only one removed from corn ration storage. There's this place doesn't have corn rations. We should get some more food storage in the mining station. Just because the mining station is also an important little route for the farming terrace to export out in this direction. There's some fermented soybeans and corn rations. They're going to be the two particularly pertinent things to build up here. So let's look down underground, figure out where we can hide those. Right, looking up, looking down. Figuring out where we can build stuff. Hey, we do have a nice little storage area in here, which should work. Yep, no problem. This is going to cut into that corner. Right. Luckily, I don't think that platform's actually necessary. We will just need to delete that, because otherwise we won't be able to delete the platform below it that ends up being built. And that is a storage position. And then in order to get some more storage, we can squeeze some somewhere else along here. Now next to this house. Yeah, I can't squeeze in here, because the middle section will be facing either inside that house or up those stairs. Yep, so we can just go tunnels. And then just, sure, a little section just there. Blow that out, please. Yep. Launch those 3 locations. Yes, I know that disrupts that path. But we then get a medium warehouse in here. We assign you to corn rations. And we go up one, and then we can get a path in there, and that keeps everything connected up. Yep. And then the beavers come down here, tunnel some of this out, and this is fermented soybeans. Last one. Last one. There we go. Delete you. Storage. Medium warehouse. Rotate. Fermented soybeans. Fermented cassava. Fermented soybeans. There we go. Yeah. A little bit more food storage here. And that's a bit of a trade route through here. And then we can get some corn rations and some fermented mushroom storage over here too. Where do I want to squeeze this stuff? Just in here? Yeah, just in there. More warehouses filling up this little central area. So, fermented mushrooms and corn rations. Cool. Mine almost done now. Oh, they actually have all the resources. They just need to actually hammer away at it for a bit. Yep. We see a Quackugoth working away. Excellent. Ah, yes, and you are on the efficient recipe, please. Didn't make this centrifuge for nothing. Now that should now start producing a huge quantity of scrap metal. I suppose I probably should do something with all that scrap metal rather than just let it, you know, kind of build up. And that's probably the domain of a metalsmith. Potentially. I could have stuck a metalsmith in that little 2x2 part rather than these houses. I don't mind the houses being there. Is there something I can stick a metalsmith on top of? Oh man, something like that would look real cool. Yeah. The other thing, of course, is the smelter. So the smelter is just going to give me some more metal blocks. And it can live somewhere where there's power. Probably down in this little complex. Yeah. Maybe closer to the mine if I really wanted it to. This shouldn't be too hard to feed power. I could do something like that, maybe. So let's think about this metalsmith, though. Like, a metalsmith on top of a tower. Really, really would look cool. Oh, you can't reach up to that roof. I'll need to sort that too. Think about scaffolding. I think quite centrally located, which does make this little rooftop here on top of this row house the obvious location for it. It does mean we'll need to get a path up here. We're likely going to have calls for a bunch more storage stuff we're producing. Let me just have a look what storage amount for all this stuff is. Some more industrial storepiles probably would not go amiss if we scattered them around. And you currently, yes, this is your extract storage. I need to actually assign that. Extract, please, in that tank. Okay. Let's see, yeah, ingredient stuff, mushrooms, algae. Could just do a lot more, like, food storage stuff. We can get a ton of mangrove fruits from out here. We can get eggplants from over here. Yeah, I just need more food storage, so that can be something to help fill in some of this space. Actually, getting up here is going to be a matter of staircases. We do have a way up here, which we can just extend across like so. And then want to keep some, and just like a medium warehouse in here. I don't want to do, like, really make this exposed. Just have a little too long thing here, like 2 1x1 warehouses. Do some small industrial piles. You know what? Let's be a little bit unusual with this whole structure. You run like that. And you run up here into a spiral. Then that can be a platform. We have a small industrial pile just there. Yeah, small industrial. Which can be... We don't have any dirt storage in here, do we? No, we might as well get a little bit of dirt in here then. That can be a small dirt store. Unlikely to have ever actually used dirt here. I don't have the use it in mind, but if we have that in position, that's nice. And then that's a metalsmith. And that'll be quite exposed, but then we'll get some storehouses and stuff built in along the edges here. Right. Something... I don't mind it being exposed on this angle, so just that little flat platform. And then that will be real nice looking. Builders are slowly getting all the stuff I asked them to do built. Yeah, they're really overloaded here. These lads are overbuilding those levees now. That thing is slowly snaking its way along the ground. Yeah, these beavers are working away here busily. We did, in fact, yes, get that double dynamite done. Let's just, boom, explode that. Get your deep water pump in. Actually, you barely even reach down, don't you? Why want to explode a little divot out of the ground to support you then? You can pump a bit more water. So only one deep does leave the possibility of running low. Medium dynamite warehouse? Medium dynamite warehouse time. Sure, squeeze you in there. See, dynamite is up there. Explosives. Yeah, and then we're just going to go landscaping, dynamite, one deep, and that'll be where the pump rests. And then we'll have some stairs leading down to it there, which will also need to be blown out. Yep. Leave you lads to get that sorted. The builders are currently occupied building up this thing slowly over time. Man, this place is so cool looking now. Yeah, and as a district, it is just shot into existence. Like, I remember when this was a little cluster of houses on the far side of that river. Good, we have some of the row houses coming in, some accommodation. Oh, stop people sleeping out in the cold. Homeless beavers, the amount is decreasing. A bunch more are going to be accommodated there, of course. Check back in our main beaver producing ones. They don't have an excess of people anyway, do they? They don't have homes. No, you're all still good. You have a vacancy up on the farming terrace. Yes, you do. Let's get you up to 26. Kind of interesting you're not automatically migrating people in. So we do just have a bunch of unemployed beavers. I guess it is just a lot of stuff taken out by buffer in other districts. Which implies to me it's probably time to start increasing our population again. Like down here, yeah, we have a vacancy down here in Lower Wellspring as well. Let's get you up to 27. Like, you only have a couple of kids available. Let's have a look at increasing the amount of, yes, underhousing breeding pods that are available to you. Yep, that little 1x1 spot would be good. Same with just in here. Yep. Another couple of breeding pods in this district. Help keep our population high. Stick some more breeding pods in either top side. Yeah, top side like has so many berries. There's a bit limited on water, but you have plenty in storage. Let's see if we can squeeze another one in here somewhere. And in that little spot could be decent. Make use of this path up here, perhaps. Somewhere. Sure, I'll just stick another pod back in there. And that'll get me a few more beavers over time. I see a bunch of beavers just died of old age, so our, like, vacancies in workforces has really exploded. We are running short on beavers. All the expansion we've been doing. This new district could, like, will have plenty of farming space. I was thinking this place could maybe make some more coffee. We could also get some more blueberries in here too. Get some more beavers being born out here. Though we do have the coffee being grown up here, so I reckon this side is actually good for coffee. Think about coffee, we probably want to get some coffee exported out of this district into other places now. Like, Upper Wellspring doesn't have coffee storage, does it? No, it doesn't. It just has the coffee beans. Well, that's something you guys can have added. Keep the builders up here busy. I don't want to squeeze this in. Somewhere left, right. Do this little 2x2 area, currently taken up by this gatherer flag. Yeah, we probably want to clear out that gatherer flag to somewhere else. I would just stick you there. You would still reach everything comfortably. Delete that. Storage, medium tank. Build it like that. Coffee storage. Like some coffee moving up over the cliff. I don't think we have any coffee storage down here, no. And the reservoir district would also appreciate some coffee then, which can be imported across here. So let's see, whereabouts would I go and place in coffee storage? And that is just a lovely spot that I have not put anything in yet, so there we go, coffee storage for the reservoir district. Now I think, yes, we did get coffee up topside. Did we end up with any coffee down here? No, we did not. Do seem to have a lot of injured beavers running around. Yeah, too many injured beavers. We need more spots for them to recover here. Medical beds can be squeezed. Somewhere. Unclear where that somewhere might yet be. I just stick them loose up here. Sure, I'll get a couple more medical beds up in that corner. Get some of these injured beavers back in the workforce faster. And then the coffee storage, right. A medium tank. Let's see. Yeah, this district is kind of a little bit crowded. Overall, I could... Yeah. What I can do is I can expand out this section a bit more. Some platforms over that. Extend out that path. Medium tank on top of there for coffee storage. Yeah, that'll be nice. Yeah, 19 injured beavers at the moment. A whole lot in this district, like... I don't know what sort of industrial accident triggered that. One there. And then a bunch over here too. Do have medical beds, but they don't seem to be keeping up. I reckon a couple more here as well. And with this whole slightly silly thing we're doing up here, get another medical bed squeezed in there, perhaps. Yeah, the metalsmith up there was a good idea. Look at that thing. Then another medical bed. Yep, just there. I'll get a few more injured beavers resting. Saw the flooding alert pop up, but that disappeared as I went to try and click on it, so it probably can't be too bad. Yeah, power demand isn't even actually that high at the moment. Oh yeah, we're running low on workers. Yep. Not great. Not great. Migrate population. How are you kind of looking? Yeah, so you currently are just sitting under the amount we want. You're 7 incapacitated at the moment. Ooh. Let's get a little bit more buffer. Get you up to 43 workers in this district at once. Really, with all these injured beavers, we probably do just need to start thinking about robots. And to start thinking about robots, we decided we need to start thinking about this. And to start thinking about this, I would like to get like this irrigated. Like irrigating this is part of redirecting this. Yeah, which is going to be something for the topside workers can do this to keep them busy. At least this little section. Yes, you guys just path leading along there. Leads over to there. Which leads you up. We need to actually do a slightly taller staircase than that. Yep, 2 into 1. Then like that to take across the bad water safely. Okay. So builders up here. We will want to demolish this stuff. And that will redirect bad water down into here, so it's following this same channel. And then we will want to like barricade up some of this stuff. We can just do that part way along just to there. Yep, cross like that. And that will get bad water out of here, which will make this a bit easier to fill with nice clean water. Now, actually getting nice clean water up here is a deep mechanical pump type situation. Like we pump water out from here up to here, like blow a little canal through the ground. Yeah. I'm just wondering if I wanted to get water up into this top section. You know, we're looking at something this steep, which is a tiny bit awkward. Of course, I don't actually need this top section irrigate. I could just leave this barren and then just irrigate down here somewhat. But I wouldn't mind getting water up into this too. Like, as part of that, we would want to get levees across the top here. Levees across here too. I definitely don't want to build those before I'm certain this is in position though. Then I could just do like some earthen ramparts, some terrain blocks in order to make a little dike or something to hold water in and let us pump it up to a higher height than we otherwise would. Yeah, I reckon that's the approach to take here. We'll just let these beavers work away at this. You have a full contingent of builders? Yes, you do. Well, we're flooding briefly over the mangroves. Yeah, this riverbed is a bit overloaded. We have a lot of water forcing its way through here. Yeah, this stuff is all in position. I reckon it's time to reduce some of that water load by redirecting it further back now. Let's just go 6 0.67. Yeah, and we should see this start to backfill. And that means the majority of the water pushing through here will now be coming from the wellspring the town is named after. Yeah, this is going to be quite a large, shallow body of water, so it'll take a little bit to fill. We do have water flowing in from here and from here. Yeah, this is almost done too. And let's try and keep this quite high. You can go up to 0.95. We'll see if we get any spillover. If so, we just drop this down 0.05 by 0.05. See what the most we can support is. Yeah, when you see it starting to flood. Backfilling this nicely. I'll just kind of keep happening until we reach up to the height of these dams. Actually, you do need to be slightly higher than the dams. You need to be a 0.7. Since I'm pretty sure the dams are 0.65 meters in height. Bad tide. Oh, 7-day bad tide, long one. Luckily, bad tides are the exact same as droughts to us, more or less. I did need to check. Yeah, look at that. That's where we're getting the spillage. Boom. So we need to deepen this channel. I wondered when that had happened because we did see beavers end up getting contaminated in this district. Okay, so we just need to raise this up. Levees right along the top of there. Up there, right along there. Dup, dup, dup. Like that. Yep, just the path. Do not demolish the levee beneath it. That would be a bad... unintentional joke, but it would be bad water. Sort of bad. Yep. Now, miraculously, no ill beavers from that spill, despite the fact it dumped directly on top of their heads there down there. Yeah, just a sudden surge of water down here makes it spill over the sides. We do just need to make this channel deeper to support it. Now, to actually get up there is going to need adjusting this thing slightly. Luckily, not as much as you might suspect, because we already have like a flat section here, so we can just go stair, stair. And then you build along here. We'll have a very similar setup on the far side. You should be able to reach down to build those without stairs. And we can just have a little platform, yeah, too high platform up there in order to get across to the other side. Yeah, build that thing out for me, please. And see the bad tides all safely contained, flowing off the map edge here and here. And then flowing into this and then down underground and off the map edge there. Here. And this one flowing out there. Yeah, we are fans of bad tides in this house. They're like droughts, but typically shorter. Tell you what, please get this done first before you back that up and make everything flood with bad water. Like, there's a reason I told you to do this stuff promptly. Yeah, I'll just have to micromanage them through clearing this stuff, like that one, then that one, that one. As you can see, they started demolishing the closest one first. which is the incorrect order to do those in. Yeah, you guys just get that stuff all built up. I'll sort this out. Okay, there we go. And now that one. I'd say probably just fine demolishing one of them, but, you know, make this neat. If I want to do some more hydro engineering with water wheels or something up here, these blockages will just get in the way later. We'll get them all one at a time. About half. And you can see this thing has backfilled pretty successfully. It's not quite at dam height yet. Ruddy close thing though. Ruddy close. The bad tide has just interrupted it before it really got going. Oh, you've got this all finished. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Down here in Terminus. Still waiting on some of this stuff. Oh, builders can't actually bloody reach it. That's what the delay is. Yeah, I assumed just how close that was to district center that the path would not be a problem, but no. It was. Yeah. Blow that stuff up. And got stairs and whatnot, everything. We do need to get some industrial storage stuff in as well. Large industrial piles. Yeah, this stuff can just be stored up the top. Just in there. Yeah, one for logs. One for planks. Successful series of explosions. And then these stairs will lead down into a water pump. Entrance block. You needed to go on the other side. Second explosive right there. The other thing out. Double dynamite. Build. Go, my builders. There they go. Carrying extract, carrying explosives. Swimming, swimming, swimming. Perfect. Detonate. There we go. Now you can reach. Yep. That industrial storage is in position. Now we'll need some water storage too, now that we have the pump. Straight up from medium, which means we'll need gear storage in addition. And on the assumption this is probably going to end up mirrored at some point. Like another barracks in there. We'll just do this thing. This can be gears. And storage, a medium water tank. Can live somewhere. Up there. Up there. Water storage. Yep, just getting basic infrastructure and terminus sorted out. We can see this little dam system is successfully holding this all in place at the moment, keeping this nice and irrigated. Do you want to blow some explosives through here at some point? Doing that at this particular moment will result in this becoming unirrigated as long as the water drains away, but we're not doing anything this irrigation anyway. I just got an achievement for trying to explode the bottom of the map with explosives. Was it just because of... No, I didn't think I was at the bottom here. Yeah, we're well above. I have no idea why I just got that achievement. Have any of you been setting off explosives without me back there? Better not have. I don't like the idea of my beavers setting explosives all on their own. Oh, was it just because I hovered over this? That might have been it. Like, I definitely didn't try and place any explosives down here. I just kind of waved my mouse over it. But that might have counted that. Huh. Anyway, so, as I was saying, we're going to need to cut a little channel through here. I need to kind of decide where I want that channel to be. Like, out this side? Out here? We have options. I want to avoid these trees. That might actually be a bit difficult. I could do it here, but that's excessively long. I prefer to keep the canal as short as possible. Which means, yeah, we're probably doing it like this, and then demolishing that birch tree in there. You know what, let's... Yep, a lot of stairs leading down into the water here, just to keep roots direct. This is a demolish resources situation. Like so. And the one next to it too, just so the path can run immediately next to this. Yep, that's getting done. Get in there, get in there. This district is chugging away successfully. What are you currently looking like for, yeah, 8 incapacitated beavers? Oh boy. Yeah, beavers napping in med tents everywhere. System's working away nicely though. Now, if we look back over here, ah yes, they've managed to get it sorted out. They built that, demolished this stuff. Yeah, so this is all flowing back here. You can see this is all drained. Now, can the builders reach that? They can. Yep, so we'll just get them to demolish some of this stuff. And we'll need to get them to walk out here. And then we'll also need them to build up some levees. You know what, that doesn't need to be for long. We can just leave that little weird one tile gap. That does... Oh, I'm trying to figure out if that looks good or not. I'll leave it for now. Like, a perfectly flat cliff face does have its own appeal. I don't want this to be, like, too barren or modified of a landscape. I am planning on just, like, foresting this area up, probably. And the actual robot district will be built right up here next to the bad water, like there-ish. So I might leave that gap for the moment. Yep, we're getting new water in. This stuff is getting built up. Last. Not what I meant to do. Delete that path. Landscaping. Click on the button. And let's get that explosive in. Delete this. Divert a little bit of water down into here. Really start filling up in about 3 days' time. There we go. Yeah, irrigate some of this land. And yeah, what am I going to do down here? We can do forestry stuff. We can grow various vegetables. Decent way for any cornfields. We have like corn up here, in here. Another cornfield down here. Might not be the worst idea. This place is growing plenty of cassava. Kohlrabi can be grown anywhere and we only need small amounts. Coffee's being grown nearby. They have berries. No real canola production down here. I could do a small canola patch. Just have a little bit more oil on this side, just so it's nice and evenly distributed. Eggplants. Eggplants are a bit tricky to do stuff with, but if we are planning on growing canola too, maybe this will just end up a very patchwork farmland with a little bit of everything. Like, we can even do mangroves and stuff in this shallow lake bed. Yeah. And what we can definitely do is clear out a bunch of these trees. We'll get platform leading across there, so you can definitely reach. And once that's in, yep. Let's just cut as many of these little dead birch trees down as you can. Little lumberjack working away on that. Want this land cleared out. We need to migrate your population slightly. Let's increase you up to 10, so we have a bit of a buffer. And we'll need an additional house. We will just mirror this with another barracks on the far side. And I could probably do some stuff with the roads here, bring you in. We can do some stuff with this space now. Yeah, I kind of don't want to build down too far. I want to fill in this little section, I think, from this point on. We'll have some beavers like running out here so they can look down this river canyon. Yep. You guys work well on that. Now if I head back over here. You guys have not demolished that thing yet. Yeah, you're busy building. Well, it all needs to be done one part at a time. Now, actually pumping water up here and then getting the earthen ramparts thing I mentioned in. A deep mechanical fluid pump. Yeah, the amount of power this thing's going to draw, this is probably going to be waiting on getting this little district up here built and then feeding power down from it. We can exploit all of this system. On that note, how do I want to go about doing this? We will want to be able to bridge across there. And then, yeah, we have some dead trees we can start cutting down. I think I might want to try and get the transition over to robots here pretty promptly. Which will require getting some power in position. Yeah, I can just get some builders in here, get them to start messing around with this stuff, like get power wheels here and here. Actually, this district might be able to start working on a power system across this waterfall. So what sort of space am I looking at for large power wheels here? I got like one across here, I want one in there. Yeah, and this will need to be at this height. Really get this to squeeze in. Demolish some of the terrain there, but that's going to involve like swimming in bad water. Get a basic platform there. And when you squeeze you in there, you're going to produce a bit under 400 horsepower. A water wheel built up here seems like the next spot. Yeah, you're a bit too close in still. Need to go one further out. just cancel that for a moment. Sorry, any workers are already scurrying along to try and build that for me. Yeah, and you still don't quite fit. We're going to need to get some explosives planted there and there. You can't readily reach that. There are like platforms here and here. We can, modify this environment slightly, a levee there and there. Help focus in the water flow for me. Yeah, get you in, get you in. Yep, like that. Now we will just want to way up there too, so we can have another staircase next to this one. These out to there. And we'll just start modifying this whole environment. And we'll want to build some levees in across here too, probably. Actually, we'll probably want to build some levees in across here in order to focus flow as well. Something like that. And honestly, in there maybe, rather than further out. It costs more wood, but... the beavers will figure it out. And then that'll be 2 board wheels in position. And then we can figure out a third up there, another one up there. There'll be a whole lot of water power being extracted from this waterfall. Yep, I'll just leave those workers to that for the second. And I want both of those getting demolished at least. And then this one too, to clear up the whole thing. Almost at the end of the bad tide. We'll be able to see this in action before too long as well. Yep. You're successfully chopping stuff down, getting some logs and stuff in. Let's start thinking about more basic storage stuff in here. You can just weave some structures. Yep, like that. Bunch of little warehouses. And this can be some food storage stuff. So stuff we can import from the next district over includes fermented cassava. Fermented cassava. And it includes... I can get some berry storage in here. Yeah, berries. This place is producing an excess of berries. And it includes mangrove fruits. And... we got some kohlrabi in here. Does this place even have kohlrabi storage? It does, apparently. It's not full, though, so just leave that for the moment. Yeah. Something to be determined for the last one. What sort of other thing do we want in here? Let's get some metal parts down here eventually, if you can. Just assign that. Yep, keep building out Terminus. Thinking we could maybe do a little bit of hydroponic stuff in this district too. Just some mushrooms. We have all this barren land up top and right next to the water supply. That seems like a fun idea to try and handle. Now, wait on you to clear out some more trees and I'll get some farmland in this little corner. And yeah, we are just going to do a bit of a varied crop. We'll grow some corn, grow a little bit of canola. And then I might even process soybeans or eggplant down here. Maybe soybeans, something we can process in a fermenter. Yeah, soybeans down here would not go amiss. You guys walking around, being productive, making stuff. Let's just get a farmhouse built in. Somewhere anyway, we're going to need a lot of farmhouses to keep this whole thing active. Build out to here, you can build quite far down along this section. That's what we'll do. It cuts into the farmland with this extra path length, but we're not going to be short on food supply anyway. And there goes last the water running out. Just in time for me to get the farmhouse in position, so that's going to need to wait a second to come online. Yeah, so just looking on this, when the water in here runs out, it stays around here because this reservoir down along this edge, but this little plateau becomes barren. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. I need to get up to that roof. That is something I noted earlier and then did not do. How do we get to the roof? We get to the roof using stairs. Oh, huzzah. Hopefully that will be sufficient and they'll be able to reach like across that corner. Builders building away. Yes, it is. Excellent. Now, I was thinking about some more metal processing here, wasn't I? Because we have a lot of scrap metal at the ready. Even more places for beavers to get injured. Let's do this. Smelter. Where do we want the smelter? Smelter could live somewhere near the mine, in with all these power systems. Don't think I'd mind that. Let's see, feeding power to this. It's going to require feeding power from this side up into it. If I were to run this smelter... Yeah, it's a little bit awkward. Like, the easy place to do it is right round the back, but then it's a long walk around. I want to get this in the center somewhere. The power system runs along there. We could extend it over the top of these tents. Yeah, if we might change that, normal power shaft, vertical power shaft, and we can do some stuff like platforms over the top of those. And then this will get us another way up onto this system on this side, if we do some stairs here, which seems like a good idea to me. Yeah, so if I were to build a smelter here-ish, there-ish. Yeah, here-ish. We'll need you around the front, like that. And I need something to fill in this space. What I can do here is just, you know what, a bunch more medical tents. Like so. I could maybe do something fun like a detailer. Can you build platforms over the top of a detailer? You cannot, so that scraps that idea. Yep, we'll just do another medical tent. Oh, so we're going to need a whole lot of those. Platform, 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 platform. stairs onto a tiny industrial pile, which can store... Let's get more metal blocks, since we're going to produce metal blocks right next to it. And that gets people up onto here. And then a smelter. Just in there, here. Build it back slightly. Build it back. About there. And then that gets the entrance into here. Yep. And then the power comes up to here. And then we'll feed it. You know what I could actually do, just looking at this? I reckon, yeah, having the power up there is fine. But if we remove this medical bed... Apologies to the beavers, but I'm getting a bunch more with this extra structure in here, so I don't mind doing that now. Get a vertical power shaft there. Platforms across. Yeah, straight into the side of the building. And that way I can still, like, leave this spot open to do some more building on top of these little platforms. Yep, and then a path to link up these two sides. Cool. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yep, you have nothing to do in range, so let's demolish you. We can then reinstitute you down over here. Yeah, hook you up via path. You cut down the rest of these dead trees. Including those couple. Of course, the downside with positioning these where I did is it means that water from here is going to preferentially flow straight out rather than backing up to keep this irrigated, isn't it? Yeah, that might not actually be viable. It was a nice thought. And I do like the aesthetics of having this be where the natural channel begins, but we do actually need to unify these two systems up. Which means down here, levy, 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 just across there. And 3 dams. That still doesn't look too bad. You can kind of see right where most of this will remain natural. And as part of that, let's just demolish this thing, reclaim that. Builders, yeah, get down there, please. And this can be a bit of a preference to get this thing sorted out. Okay, that will keep Terminus busy for a second. Water is flowing into this system. Down from the farming terrace. Which is nice to see. Yeah, having the wall in here means that water that flows through here isn't helping to contribute to this section. There's such a delay in water coming down from this uppermost lake around Three Peaks down into here that in order to keep this farm online for reasonable amounts of time, we do need the water flowing down from Wellspring to back up. Okay. Yep, this system is more or less online now. We are still short workers. Only 4 incapacitated. Yeah, that in mind, let's increase you up to 46 beavers. This place is almost as busy as Topside now. the amount of beavers it's requesting. Yeah, real little metropolis going on. Also, we're back up to homeless beavers here again. Which means we need to get some more housing in. We have this big flat section with this big flat section. Oh, hello, Eastern folks. How are you all doing? How is your own Timberborning going? Mine has been going quite successfully, building out a bunch of new districts, bunch of new areas. Squeeze you in there. I don't want to fill in this little flat section. Just stick a barracks in there. That'll do nicely. Hello, Isu. Hello, Kenda. Welcome, welcome, Raiders. Oh, you're playing Against the Storm tonight. Not Timberborn. Against the Storm is another wonderful game, which also coincidentally happens to feature beavers. I think it's been a while since I last played. Yeah, that's like the bats and stuff, and that's all new. I haven't played any Against the Storm since they were added. So how's the Against the Storming going? Successfully founding colonies, not having too many people die horrible deaths? Oh, new to it. No, I hope you're enjoying it. It's a very fun game. Yeah, you're all putting along nicely. Yeah, go to that blockage too. Now that's the last one left. Oh yeah, the morale gets too low, everyone starts to leave. That's the most common way to... I tend to count that as essentially the same as people dying in Against the Storm. There are a few effects that actually manage to kill people, but normally people start leaving before things get that bad. Lumberjack cleared all of that out. Okay, yeah, and this is all irrigated now, so... What do we want to do crop-wise? Start getting corn in? Yeah, corn and some kohlrabi. You reach right down to that corner. Let's make big old cornfield right along here. This is probably too much for just these couple of farmers to handle, but they'll live, more or less. Yep, you guys get that stuff planted. We'll need some storage to actually keep this all. Yep, wrap you around like that. This can become our new kohlrabi storage. This can be corn storage. Now, actually getting power up here, it's all going to be a little bit of a mystery. I can get a bit of power out of this river and feed it up. I really didn't design this for power, though. I left it full length of the river width. You're not getting much for throughput here. This river's not really suitable for power generation. Right, food factory, 120. At least this is a good district for power storage. I need to keep that in mind. Right. Gravity batteries here are going to last a long time. I could just use the large power wheel. Honestly, I haven't used one of these yet. That and a steam engine somewhere should keep me for power-wise. Yeah, rather than try and force water wheels into this system. Now, if I want to run gravity batteries over here, I'm going to need to feed power across somehow. And a bunch of unemployed, so... I was just starting to run low, so I built a whole bunch of breeding pods a little while ago, and they're starting to come online, so... A bunch of unemployed beavers starting to appear. I can probably just run the power right along the base. It would be fun to try and bridge it across. Regardless, if we want to get up here, we're going to need to worry about some suspension bridges of some sort. Let's get you up like that. In order to actually get you up high enough, we're looking at 3 tall. Yeah, if I wanted to get beavers up here. Get that penciled in. Double platform. That's a nice 3x2 space, so I won't cut into that with stairs. Yeah, we'll just do a straight path up to get to there. That way I can get some workers building up here. And then power is, yeah, almost certainly just going to build a big old vertical power shaft in this corner. Reaches up to here, gravity batteries, making use of this cliff face. The actual power wheel and stuff built into here. Yeah, that sounds like an idea. Now, builders are busy again. Is there anything else I wanted to do over here in Lower Wellspring? You could stand to have some eggplant ration food storage. Soak it up here. Yeah, these places still have a lot of imports they could be bringing in from elsewhere. Build you in like that. Eggplant rations. Then eggplant rations down here. I want to build this up. Yeah, I'll continue to build along this section. Yep, and I'll get some more eggplants out of the reservoir district. This place still has a big backlog of them. Now, everything here is online and good. No homeless beavers anymore. Let's go around and do a quick well-being check. See where's is lagging behind. You're good, you're good. And yeah, obviously the towns of monuments are the highest. I reckon, yeah, you're only on 22 well-being. You're dragging down my average, Walton. I just grab you. You're a district crossing worker. What do you currently have? You're managing to still just about squeeze in all your foods, despite being very busy. Retail Exercise Plaza, we have no aesthetic stuff in this district. None at all. Let's think about fixing that. This district also apparently has homeless beavers. Let's also think about fixing that. So... I mean, as tempting as a little row house up here would be, I think I would like leaving this open to actually be able to get up there. You know what? Yeah, this is a good row house spot, just there. Normal one, tall one. Yeah, tall row house, just there. Little platform to squeeze you across to it. I'll get the homeless beavers done, and now some decoration stuff. Now, I think the houses are a bit too spread far apart to, yeah, capture any 3 of them with the one object, short of a monument. But we can spread some stuff out. Some stuff on top of here would hit either of those if it was a large one. I can get a little roof on top of there. I'm unlikely to build anything on top of that, so that's nice. Also unlikely to build anything on top of there, so you can get roof. And then beaver bust. Beaver statue. Decorative clock. Not the bell. I don't think I want the bell noise here. Or brazier, maybe. Not the brazier there. Not on top of a wooden roof. It just seems a tad dangerous to me. I reckon the beaver statue built up there. I'll get a little bit more aesthetic stuff covered. Oh yes, and look at this. This is all irrigated now. Oh, wonderful. Honestly, a decent bit of flow through this. Like, you can see this is actually flooding over the sides of the channel. I thought just the one floodgate would be sufficient for this, given the fact we also have, like, an overflow portion back here, and this is just a bit of excess. It might just be because I have you right up at 0.95. I lower you to 0.9 if you lose that flooding. Yeah, because there's just a bit of a cubic throttle on that if we put the height up really high. Oh, I think we do just need a second floodgate in here. Oh, well. That is simple enough. Like, nothing actually relying on this, so don't mind letting this just drain for a second. Floodgate in. Beavers immediately zipping down to grab the resources. They should be up in a second. Yep, here they come to actually build the floodgate. Now, very worst possible outcome here is just if this keeps flooding over here, we just build up the levee a bit higher here and have a second set of dams releasing right at this point. Like, having too much water is not really a problem down here. My worry was not having enough. That is not all what we're running into. Now, how is this power system stuff coming online? You are producing a whole lot of power to nothing at the moment. That is good. And these two dynamite are in, so we detonate those. And we can hook up a second power wheel. Yeah, and I reckon we do have the end facing out just there. We want to get that thing built to help focus. We'll get those stairs in. Yeah, and just these two are going to produce in a whole lot. And then we can squeeze another one just up there, another one in there maybe. And there should be more than enough power once fed up to this district to get everything online that we want. Yeah, builder's still busy. I have this whole thing to do over there. Yeah, I am very, very happy with how the settlement is coming along. And there's so many little patches of green, so many different beavers working away in different locations. I'm wondering, just looking like we have this dead forest here. And I am considering maybe we should just like get a forest in and replace this with a bit of an alive forest. Like, this is almost always going to be irrigated, but I'm unlikely to have beavers actually working away in this location. I could just leave the dead trees and interweave in some living ones, perhaps. I do not hate that as an idea. Yeah, I don't think I hate that at all. Let's get some spiral stairs in there, and then if I were to just build a forester right there. And then oak trees, yep, to match the dead ones. Just scatter a whole bunch around. Higgledy-piggledy, something like this. And then getting some more trees down in this section will be something for a different forester to build, so I won't worry about a little stair down to get a couple on here at the moment. Yep. And that will all end up planted, and then those will slowly start naturally spreading. We're talking about natural forestation. Yeah, look how dense the forest across here is getting now. Most of the tiles are filled in with birch trees. Yeah, that looks lovely. All these adult oak trees growing up in the gullies now getting processed. Quite lovely. Redirecting water through these canyons is probably the next task for the beavers up here in Three Peaks. So water at the moment preferentially flows down here, through here gently, out there. If I were to barricade up here, it would instead preferentially flow across here. Okay. And then, like, preferentially down through here. This little channel, I wouldn't mind having all three of these irrigated somewhat. In order to do that, I'm going to need to raise up the water level back here quite a bit. What Z level are you on? Okay, so we're looking at this level for water in order to backfill up to there. Which means we're looking at a barricade about here. Yeah, we'll need to barricade like right up the back here somewhere in order to prevent this plateau from flooding. Because this is level with this entire exposed plateau. Of course, the other way to potentially do this is rather than having the water preferentially flow from here, we have it preferentially flow out of here. If we do that, we have a barricade built up here. It'll flow through here, and then once it like builds up to the height we set, it then flows down through here. Like fills up this, hits there, and back up to here. That might be the thing to do. Let me just spend a little moment thinking about this whole system. Yeah, so at the moment we're at height 9, which is more than high enough for every possible need we'll have. Want to go 1 deep at height 7 here. This might be a fill valve sort of situation. We get fill valves to fill this up to the height we want it. Or even just throttling valves. We have a little bit of water flow out through all three. I don't really know what the full flow rate out of this place is. Now there is a building, this stream gauge, that lets you measure flow in water. However, I am never quite certain how to use these. Like, if I just put one here and here, would that measure all the water pouring out of this? Or is it just measure, like, something a bit more abstract? Like, would this tile adjacent mess it up? We definitely do want water flowing down this stream, that's for certain. I could probably live with this remaining dry, or I would prefer it to be otherwise. Yeah, let's try and mess around with the actual stream gauge monitors. I'll just kind of see what happens. So I build one here and build one here. Do a little bit of experimenting too, to try and see how this works. Right. Immediately no one can reach it, but builders from this district can have some interesting stairs installed. It'll let them reach down far enough. Yep, I'll get both those. And then we'll just see what these show as the flow through here. And then we'll build a levee here to stop it. And then we'll see if that changes the result. Let's do that bit of experimentation then. That will give me a little bit of an idea of how much water I have to work with to fill up these canyons. Because I might end up doing the throttling valves and have like 1/3 released through each of these things. That might be the easy way to fill up these canyons rather than try and snake it back and forth. This is almost done. Yeah, all the logs installed. Just need you to hammer away at it. Perfect. Yeah, and that should help get water into this section much more quickly at the end of the droughts and bad tides. Good, you guys are currently sitting and waiting. And if that's the case, why not plant more corn? Yep, you get that stuff in. Yeah, builders are finally working on building this stuff up. So if I were to want to get... I probably want to get a forester down here too, to get some trees growing before too long. Like, how far do I want you to be able to reach? Like, yeah, I think just this little part can become trees. Maybe up here can become trees too? Where would I build a woodcutter to be able to access both of those plateaus if that was the case? I mean, we'll need stairs in order to get up here, that's for certain. Right. A little central platform leading across to both might be the place to stick a woodcutter if I want to do both of these as forests. In which case, we don't actually need that. Demolish that. Instead, we can do something with a too high platform in the middle. Say, yep, there, and we'll be a bit fancy. And, oh no, we can't do a suspension bridge right across here. But I could do like that. And then that's a path. And then that is going to be a lumberjack. Yeah. That looks cool. And you can start by cutting this stuff. We'll just highlight all of these plateaus, so this is all ready for when we begin. And then we start getting foresters. Huh. Why would putting the entrance further away? Yeah, the side furthest from the entrance actually has further reach. Like, if the entrance is facing towards the riverhead here, right, we can reach almost the end of the kohlrabi. And to that point, you can see up here. But if I flip it... No, if I flip it, it grows in both directions. Like, we can reach right to the kohlrabi and further out? Bizarre. I do not understand this. I do not. Yeah, this will cover a couple of tiles, but that's fine. We'll just get a forester in here. And you can start planting... But I just want birch trees across here. Maybe. This little lowlands area, I feel like, will serve well with just birch forests. It's the least efficient lumberjacking-wise, but... should be fine. Oh yeah, you actually need access, though. So we remove these. Excellent. Another bad tide. Oh, you actually are still too high. Yep, and then you can service this. You know what? No, that's a mistake. I should just expand out this central platform further. Keep Lumberjack right next to the Forester. Yeah, that way I don't need to bother having the thing being serviced by two separate foresters. We can just keep the one in the middle of the river. Birch trees, and that lets me get birch planted there. Well as right across the top of here. Yep, you can cut back to there, you can plant back to there. Yeah. I do like the birch forest across here. With plenty of oak forest elsewhere on the map. Now, let's go ahead and check these things. Okay, at the moment, we are getting a current of 0.6 cubic meters per second, 0.3 cubic meters per second here. No variation. We build a levee here. Let's see if that changes. We need to get that done before the bad tide kicks in and disrupts things. This is essentially 0.9 meters per second here, more or less 0.1. And I need to wait till the next day for the builders come and finish that. Yeah, so I think just a simple, like, throttling valve at 0.3 cubic meters per second on each of these should be ideal then. Come on, it's daytime. Come down, build this thing up. Okay, has this altered? It did. Vaguely? Okay, yeah. It just evened it out slightly. So it was being thrown off, but it's still showing the same total amount. That's why this one is registering as higher. Though this actually seems to have decreased the current. It was showing as 0.5 on each. But now it's down to 0.4 on each. Oh, it's increased. No, I'm just going to guess that this water source down underground, wherever you are here, that each of these is emitting a third of a cubic meters of water per second. We have 1 cubic meter moving through this waterway. Though now that's... Come on, stream gauge, don't do this to me. I'll just have to see how this works out. But if we have, like, 1 feed down here, 1 feed down here, 1 feed down here. Hopefully this should sort itself out. In order to actually get this to feed down here preferentially, we are going to need to lock in this corner, remove some of these blockages. And it'll be cheaper to build, or it'll be, like, not cheaper. I think this way, like, even though it's less height, would still be more expensive because the increased length. If we just build up across here to a height of that. Yeah, like this. Cool. Yep, and a solid wall built in like so. We don't really need this corner, do we? We don't, but it looks nice. It'd look weird just having that be empty. We'll get that built up. We'll get the builders from here on that. How am I going to get them down? I can't really bridge down onto the thing itself because it's not built yet. I guess we'll make use of this path. Come down around this side. Nope. Yes. And then, like so. Yeah, and you can build out much of that as you can along there. Couple of platforms across there. We'll get some more builders down here too. Help out building there. Yep, I'll just get them working away on that thing. We could actually even build this a bit higher, really, because this channel is going to contain the water flow pretty well. So let's actually make that up one higher, another row of levees on top of this. Yeah, that works nicely. And then, like this, fill in this pocket and flow down here. And we'll need to do something similar with another division here to separate these two water streams. Unless I do want this one backing up. This is probably the more reasonable one to back up. Like, the extra height here was the complicating factor. So I could have these two unify and then flow out of the same one. Yeah. Like, build up levees across here, and then just have this one, then a throttling valve at, like, the combined throughput of both of these, outputting water through there. Another 7-day bad tide. Okay, that ain't good. We're still seeing that bit of flooding here. Unfortunately, I was a bit slow to the mark to come here and have a look at this. I wonder, just looking at the distribution of this. Right? It's not flooded here. It's flooded back around here. Do we see spillage across here, maybe? I might just raise up this back section slightly. We will need to demolish some of the path up here. Like that. Then raise up the levees. Like that. Redo this slightly. Get you there, get you there, get you there. And this should be a simple enough situation of just, yeah, a stair like that. Yeah, we can see losing some of the canola now. Yeah, just keep building up the structures here. Eventually, there should be no more flooding. Like, the wall across here all should be, yeah, just about as deep as you would expect it to be. Like, really, this is the little weak point here, this little relay sensor. But, like, spillage over there just into the water is fine. It's spillage down here that is a bit more concerning. And, yeah, unwell beavers. Time to get the whole decontamination pod back online down here. Yeah, we'll just slot you in there for the moment. Get one of those things built, please, lads. Now, nothing to do in range. Yep, because this is still waiting. We need more workers to actually get that happening. Get this up to 14. So let's get this even higher, right up to 18 already. We will have stuff to do shortly. We want to build vertical power shafts. beavers should be able to reach all of this, they reckon. Wonderful. Somehow. And yeah, I guess it's just one of those they can build as far down as they want situations this time. Yeah, so you climb over this bridge, get over there, build that. And then we'll run this power along the bottom and then raise it up past here. And keep in mind the build as far down as you want situation. We'll probably want the power shaft to rise up about here-ish. Yep, and then along the ground like that. And this is really just for the sake of getting gravity batteries in along this edge. It's like we can get, yeah, one there after put a platform, another one in next to it. And that's going to be a whole lot of stored power. Let the builders tackle away at that stuff. And once that's online, we'll actually be able to do something with this corn we're producing. Yeah, you're working nicely, getting some of those birch trees planted for me. On well, beavers. And look at this thing. So, yeah, each of those is putting out 640 power, more or less. So if we start thinking about getting one more of those further up this system. A large water wheel positioned like just behind this one. Want to be built like here-ish. Think that won't clash with that other one. It will need a little bit more serious explosives. However, in order to deepen this. Want to stick it one further back? Let's just do the explosives here, see how this ends up working out. We need a dynamite there. And double dynamite there and there. And then I think, yeah, one further back still. And we'll see if this is a deep enough channel to actually support this. Well, I'm assuming I need to explode that bottom section. That might actually just fit. Let's try just doing single dynamites here and see how this ends up working out. I think we will need to go 2 back, however. Right, boom, 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 boom. And then we'll want to focus you in slightly like that. And we'll need a way to get up there. Make use of this little natural bit of terrain. I might as well, yep, since we're using dynamite anyway, do it like so. Yep. Get these beavers working away on this stuff. And then we position you about there. And hopefully, like, just the water flowing down past you will be enough to turn you. If not, I can fill in this section slightly to make it a bit shallower for it. Because it has a very harsh drop-off there. Come on, explosives, beaver. Yep, detonate you. Yep, then we just build out to there. Yeah, I don't think they'll be able to reach far enough to get those other ones, actually. So just delete that dynamite, get a platform in there, then we can remove that platform, get another dynamite beneath it. Working away, working away. Yeah, there's a lot of power being channeled through that. A whole lot of power. This is also coming along quite nicely. Yep, they're building up those shafts. This thing is going to be a big log drain for a while. We are very much waiting on it before we start filling this thing in. Let's see. Other districts. Well-being wise. You're on 29. Which is good. Down here in Wellspring. You're also on 29. Up Wellspring only on 21. Yeah, these guys very much stand to be happier. What sort of happiness increasing things could I give them today? So you, district crossing worker, don't have wet fur met, have all your food met, don't have any social life or fun, only aesthetics is the roof on your house. Let's see then. Well, being Excise Plaza, maybe a bit large for what I want this settlement to be. I could probably stick a rooftop terrace in somewhere. That wouldn't be too bad, looking out over the coffee fields maybe. I like sticking a little campfire station out the back here. Get some scratches in. Swimming pool, I think we established, yeah, it would be really awkward to squeeze into here anywhere. I could tear out some coffee and just have it in there, maybe. We do seem to have a great excess of coffee bushes. Like, this one little gather is not keeping up with the rate they're ripening. Like, the water here is gonna be pretty deep for a long time. We're right in that little drop off there. So to line this up, we were to try and do it here-ish. One further back, maybe, if we were to dynamite out that section. And that would be a reduction of 8 coffee bushes if I were to install it exactly where the mouse is currently looking. And that'll be pretty deep most of the time then. Sure, let's do that. Clear this stuff out. Demolish these resources. Now we are looking at a double explosives thing here. You do not have any storage for dynamite. We're going to need to alter that. And that's a good spot for this. Explosives. Cool. And I mean, I guess we can have a little extract tank too, just tucked in here. Yep, and that'll let us get the double depth explosive right there we wanted. Yeah, that'll drop it down to its level of this. We could even make this, if I could do like a triple depth here and a single depth here, really make this a bit of deep water. Sure, let's do that. And then you run in there. And then we'll have a swimming pool installed on this place. I reckon we can also get, we're thinking of it, another roof on here, just so all the beavers here have roofs on their houses. You cannot readily reach up there, but with the magic stairs, that can be rectified. Little bit by little bit. Yep. Boom. Cool. Now we're just waiting on one more extract. See Brewer bringing the extract into the district. Our builder should grab that. Yep, grab some extract. Take it across. Boom. Perfect. Now, unfortunately, that did drop the average water level enough that it's dehydrated some of the crops. But we will survive. And now this is our new swimming pool spot. Yep, still not quite high enough. If I were to build up another set of stairs, though, I think that would change. I kind of need the beavers to have a bit of a break so they can actually do that. If I wanted a little bit more decoration here, something that covers both of these houses. A little beaver bust just there. Yeah, I don't think I mind that. There'll be scrap metal and metal parts, however, which is stuff you don't readily have storage for, so I will need a tiny bit more storage in here. Just some small piles, small ones. Whereabouts I want to squeeze those. We do this awkward little spot. This can just be a raw scrap metal storage to get scrap metal for that thing. And a small warehouse. You know what? This is going to be a good spot for the 1x1 structures if I need some more through here. Metal parts. Yep, that's high enough to reach that now. Yeah, water currently too low. Will be high enough eventually. Excellent. And I don't like the scaffolding on this building. So we're going to tear that back down. Excellent. That'll keep Upper Wellspring slightly happier. Oh, your power building shenanigans are being quite successful. Let's get a couple of these gravity batteries in while I remember that this is what I built this section up for. Yeah, and I'll just, thread that across to that one. I don't want to hook up this next one because that will cut off this gravity battery. I need the diagonal for beavers to access it to build this one. And then once that is online, we can think about hooking up one of these large power wheels to somewhere. You know what? Just here is not a particularly bad call. Though it doesn't actually link up by the base, does it? No, it only does in the center. Huh. Now, this is a bit too overhanging to really pull off. It is interesting to note you can go straight down from this building like that. Maybe come up with some fun designs that make use of that. Or maybe stick one of those on top of a bot factory. Something like so. It does not work with the food factories, however. These can accept power up from their corners. So I could just do the food factory there. And then feed the power out from... Oh, it only does the base, not the sides there. So if I wanted to then accept that in... I would need a little platform. Like so. And then to run power out via there. Let's do that then, I guess. We'll have, this large power wheel just built up like that, and then that can transmit power further down along this edge if needs be. Now, this does block off our view slightly, but it's still pretty good, I reckon, especially from up on the bridge up here. And you are corn rations, my friend. Yes, and we don't have metal block storage. That's the other thing limiting us from getting all this done. Storage, large industrial pile. We'll build it there, so there's actually a path they can follow to get further out. Make certain I remember that by just sticking the path through there. Yep, and then I'll have some more of these extra beavers here employed soon. It is a bit unfortunate this forester can't reach down here if I want to do some mangroves, but that's right. Unlike birch trees and stuff, I can just put down a temporary forester if I want to plant mangroves. I don't want to see this large power wheel an option. So all the beavers are ready for it. Yeah, they're going to get this done because I built this before I built the industrial pile, and the industrial pile is what will let them bring in metal blocks, and everything else is gated behind metal blocks. They're getting there, they're getting there, one bit at a time. Almost the end of the bad tide at the moment. Now I was thinking up here too, we were considering the campfire and stuff, weren't we? It's squeezing a campfire just to there. And then if I wanted rooftop terrace, now we can get one just in there, directly across the front, stairs leading straight up there, the platform's just there. Yep, and that connects that up to there. Cool. A couple more buildings to help get the well-being over here up, this little section. Managed to get the beaver bus built. And yeah, I do want to keep this town quite small. I really don't want to grow it out too much. Also, even this little bit of extra storage is maybe extending it slightly too far, like just that one there. But we'll survive. And look, those wild pine trees growing along this side of the riverbank, colonizing out bit by bit. Look at them go, powering nothing. Yeah, that's a fun building. Now, this is one of those situations where, like, the beavers are just going to keep labouring and kind of wasting their labour even if there's nothing to do, but, like, it's not like beavers can be employed in multiple jobs. So the fact I have 4 beavers dedicated to this thing, like, they're not going to do anything else if this is offline. So they might spend time fulfilling their needs. Could I readily automate this stuff? I would have to, like, be using a clutch. And, like, so they'll only use it during the daytime when other stuff runs, but they're going to be doing other stuff during other times as well. Like, they're not going to be working off hours. That's not going to work. I mean, how does this power meter work? Let's get this little automation thing set up. And then you can just hook into the system back. Sure, there. Power meter 1. So, supply, demand, surplus, battery charge. Okay, so we can leave this to only power up when the batteries start to run low. But we'll do a 50% threshold. Yeah, so measurement, if the measurement is less than the threshold, if we have less than 50% power, you will send an on signal, which will then make this thing operate. Just because I feel very sad to see those beavers labouring away, even if their power is not actually needed for anything. And you should probably be terminus power meter. Can I spell the word terminus? I think so. I spelled it the same way both times. My spelling is atrocious. But I think I got that right. Yeah, look how much power this is. Like, these are barely shifting. But we probably want a buffer of some sort, because as it stands, they're going to be like constantly like running on. Once the droughts like 49%, run, 50% abandon, 49, run back. We need some sort of buffer in here in order to fix that. Resource counter, science counter, indicator, speaker, firework launcher, detonator, timer. Memory. Like, we do some relay stuffs, like a signal from this then relays... What can I do with the timer? Honestly, this is probably just making the whole thing unnecessarily complex. I just feel bad for the beavers if they're constantly working. And if I unlock the timer, what do you let me do? Okay. Delay, pulse. Yep, so a reset. Choose, yeah, delays A by T1, off by time 2. Honestly, this is getting a bit too complicated for me. This really is not accomplishing much at all. This thing can just run. Keep the beavers occupied. Honestly, the way to make them happy is probably to shorten their working hours at some point. Imagine you would like that, wouldn't you? Very little gits. Now, I need to remember to keep an eye on this thing, see if it's still flooding. Once we get water flowing back down here, this is. Like, end of the bad tide. Stuff flowing down. Water not overflowing yet, though. Still got a bit to go. It's looking nice, our settlement, isn't it? Real scenic. We need to get storage for this stuff too, while I think of it. Corn ration storage, directly across from the factory. Laboring, laboring. Devout little beaver workers. Ooh, all sorts of other crops and stuff I can plant. I can do some soybean, I can do stuff with the canola. And for now, let's do a bunch more corn. Might do... So I want to make use of, like, this part of the farmland over here, too. So if I get another farmhouse installed, and just tuck you in that little corner. Delete this bit of road, though. I don't think we'll need that. And then we can plant some crops. You'll get canola field, like, out here. Keep it at least somewhat square if we can. Yeah, something like that. But let's just grow you right down into the corner there. And we can grow some soybeans around on this side. Yeah, through there, back across there. Few more soybeans, few more soybeans. Yep, and I'll keep some more farmers busy, and we'll need ways to process soybeans and the canola oil. That's going to be an oil press and then a fermenter. We'll need some more storage for all this stuff. So I think if we get a storehouse back there, and that'll let me get like a little staircase to get up onto a second floor. I reckon, yeah, we run it like there. Like so. Run the path right across the top of these platforms. What sort of storehouse do you want to be? You can be storage for all sorts of things, honestly. You know, I might end up running mushrooms here, so let's get some mushroom storage in position immediately. And we get some more medium warehouses up here. You can be for fermented soybeans. You can be for soybeans. You can be for canola seeds. You can be, let's see, for the fermented mushrooms when we make those. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. And since I have mushroom stuff already being thought of, let's get a hydroponic garden, a couple of them in position. Right, you give these workers tons of stuff to do. Yeah. Get you growing mushrooms, and we'll want a couple of fermenters. Like so. At the moment, power-wise, this produces 300. The food factory produces 120. Yeah, so we'll still have excess power just from this stuff. Can't quite make use of all of this, but if I attach you in like this, that's a little bit more space available and keep a little bit more space for storage of some sort in there. You are for fermented soybeans. You are for fermented mushrooms. Actually, what I might do with this bit of space, get you in there, is this can be then where we process some oil. Yeah, an oil press just in there, which is also 15. Now we're coming up to about the limit of what this power wheel can sustain. And then we'll need some storage for canola oil, which can just be directly across. Sure, directly across. You are canola oil storage. And this district is really growing and is going to need more workers shortly. Like hydroponic, fermenter, oil press. Oil press only takes one, right? Yes, only takes one. You're already fully manned. Oh, and we need somewhere for you to sharpen your chipped teeth. Always forget about teeth grindstones. Just in there. That's a nice spot for it. And that'll keep these workers busy for a second, getting all this stuff hooked up. And this little power meter was definitely unnecessary because we immediately expanded out our power network to the point where the large power wheel does need to be on during all of the day. Cool. Yeah, Terminus is coming along nicely now. It's already grown into a proper little settlement. Yeah, farmland. Yeah. All of this being worked is very, very nice. And I am, once again, I've mentioned it several times this stream, I think I really like Three Peaks. This is probably my favorite district out of all of the districts we've built so far. Like, even more than this nightmare vertical thing. It just looks so cool. I do think, however, we're probably coming up, just looking at the time, on about the end of stream. I'll just kind of maybe tackle this while I remember it. And actually check to see if this worked. If I don't handle this now, I'm probably going to forget about it by the time we come back next time. Get that last piece of dynamite in. I'll just see if we're good to place in another power wheel. Power, large power wheel. Nah, not like that. Not too certain what the problem is. It's probably... yeah, it's just not quite enough space to support it all. Yeah, it looks like we'll maybe need to explode down this a little bit further. But that'll be something to tackle next time, now that I've learnt that. I mean, this whole upper section is going to need a lot more modifying before we're done. But I do think... Hang on, isn't connected by paths? Are we not? Oh, yes, treated plank storage, of course. Okay, I'll get that done and then finish up. Then. I want that little one-wide spot available. It's probably fine if that's cut off. Treated plank storage. And now... I think that's probably about it for us for today. Let me just find a good view down here over the farmlands of Terminus, looking up towards the under construction city. So, thank you very much for stopping by. A couple of people who stopped by over the course today. Thank you very much for Eastern All for the raid earlier. Thank you very much to any potential VOD watchers out there who've made it through to my little ending bit. But I do think that that's probably the end of the stream. Oh, yeah, this area is coming along so nicely. I reckon we've got a couple more districts I want to squeeze in. And let me kind of run through them in my head. We've got the Floodplains district, the Canyon Town district, I'm trying to think like the Toxic Peak bot town, whatever that's going to go for, whatever that whole power system we're building is. And I think once those three are in, that's probably going to be about the end of the settlement. Then I can kind of hook up the Wonder and install that and we'll all be good. Maybe a couple more streams to go. We'll see. But until then, I should be back next Sunday. Same time, same place, same thing. You know the deal. And I hope I shall see you all then. But for now, goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.